Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Today we're talking Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. In recent time, we've had a lot of big news drop, right? We had Mai Shiranui announced not too long ago, pillar of the Fatal Fury franchise, and certainly famous in her own right these days as she's making a guest appearance in Street Fighter 6. But on top of that, we also got a lot of news about the game. Release date, April the 24th, by the way, in case you don't know. Heck of a lot of new features like a single player RPG mode, got a proper color edit mode, no need to buy color DLC because you can just make all your own colors. Jukebox with all the franchise's greatest hits, and you can just use them wherever. That's really cool. And the mega announcement that the game's Season 1 pass for all the DLC characters, 5 characters by the way, is completely free. Just buy the game and you get all the Season 1 DLC completely free. Kind of a big deal. And in this video, that's sort of what we're going to be talking about, is the DLC and, well, the roster as a whole. The roster has been consistently sort of a mystery, and after Mai, there's no more big reveals left until Tokyo Game Show, which is later in September. We know the game has 17 characters on the base roster, and an additional 5 characters as free DLC, making 22 characters all in all. And that's what we're going to talk about in the video, because we have some idea on who some of these characters may be, but other characters, kind of a mystery. So for the base roster of 17 characters, we know 11 of them right now. 11 that are currently announced, with Mai Shiranui being the most recently announced character. And after that, 6 more to go. Who could it be? Well, we got some ideas. One of the very first trailers for the game was the Voices trailer. And basically, we knew a lot of the characters that were going to be in the game, but well before they were announced, just because we could hear their voices in this trailer. Like, Mai was only just announced the other week, right? But we knew Mai was going to be in the game over a year ago because she was in this trailer. To that point, there are other characters in that voice clip trailer that are not announced yet, but they're almost assuredly, like 99% sure, gonna be in the game. Characters like the assassin cotw. His voice clip is in the trailer, so it's basically a given, plus they said they're finishing the story, and him and Hotaru definitely have unfinished issues. And Kine, who was the boss of Mark of the Wolves, the last Fatal Fury game, 25 years ago. So his voice clip is there, he's already on some of the posters, there's already references to him and win quotes from, playable builds, like he's a lock. So cotw and Kine are basically done deals as far as I'm concerned. We're just going to wait for the trailers. And there's another one that's mostly a done deal, but I guess there is a little bit of an air of mystery, and that is Hokuto Maru. So he's the little ninja boy from Mark of the Wolves, and he's a Shiranui style martial artist, just like Mai and Andy. And in fact, he uses some of Andy's moves, right? And no, he's not Mai and Andy's kid. I don't know if Andy knows how to make kids. Like, it goes beyond this video, but Mai and Andy's relationship is a strange one. But yeah, he was in the game, lots of returning characters, sure, but the thing about that voice trailer specifically is that he sounds a lot older there than he does in Mark of the Wolves. Like, yes, there's a time skip of like a year, I suppose, but still. So you're kind of picking up what I'm putting down there, right? So I posit that might not be Hokuto Maru. It actually might be Andy himself. Andy is already on official game art. Like, hey, yo, snappy new outfit, right? There's Andy right there. Joe's there too, by the way. We have Mai, obviously enough. We have Billy Kane. This is not just Mark of the Wolves 2. Like, I've talked to the developers themselves and they made that clear. This is the next Fatal Fury game. So Hokuto Maru is not necessarily a given. Like, I'm not saying that's not him, but that voice is very different from the classic voice. A lot older sounding. Maybe like Andy Bogard. Could it be Andy? Could it be Hokuto Maru? I don't know, but it's definitely one of those two because they're using Shiranui style martial arts. They say as much in the voice clip, right? But since it's so much older, I'm kind of leaning towards Andy, especially because, once again, they bothered to make an all-new design for Andy. And Andy's one of the main characters of the Fatal Fury franchise, right? Certainly more than Hokuto Maru is. So then comes the question, if we don't have Hokuto Maru and we have Andy in this place, do we have to be married to the original Mark of the Wolves roster? Obviously, a lot of the characters you're looking at right now, yes, they're already in the game. But does it have to be exactly everybody? Like, let's take Freeman, our resident serial killer. He is indeed mentioned by name in Kevin Ryan's bio on the official website, so that kind of makes it likely. Not a given, but it does make it likely. And then there's the twins, Jae-hoon and Dong-hwan, who are the children of Fatal Fury original and King of Fighters stalwart Kim Kap-hwan. Do they make it in? Now here's where things get interesting, because I do think they make it in, but I don't think they make it in at launch. This is where the DLC part of the roster talk happens. Thanks to Steam, we already know the launch windows for all the DLC characters. So the game comes out at the end of April, which is very much stretching their early 2025 promise, by the way. And we have characters launching summer 2025, fall 2025, winter 2025, and early 2026. The first two characters are launching at the exact same time, summer 2025. So if you're launching characters as a pair, well, hey, we got a pair of characters kind of already inherently built into the roster. Like, unless it's Ryu and Chun-Li as guest characters or something, I don't know. And we'll talk about guest characters. But if you're launching two characters specifically at the same time, it makes the Kim twins just that much more likely to meet. So if Freeman does make it in, but they don't, we have 2 slots free for our launch 17 characters. So who could those be? Well, we can kind of fall back on the stage theory yet again. It is now crystal clear, no more speculation. Everyone is getting their own stage. The Preacha reveal where she has like her own science center stage kind of makes that crystal clear. And we still have stages that we know of that are not yet assigned to characters. Like we see in the little story vignettes, right? Some of these are existing stages. Like this is Hotaru's stage, this is T-Zock's stage, both of which were recently revealed. And we've talked about this to death, but this is Geese Howard's stage. There's no mistaking it. Now, I'm not saying for sure Geese is coming back, although they'd be crazy not to bring Geese back. But whoever this stage belongs to is almost assuredly the final character, like the boss of the game, right? Like it could conceivably be Kind, but he already has his own stage, and he's not the one related to Geese, it was his sister. Wait and see, but the stage is very much there. Another stage from an older trailer, it's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but it's been shown, is this outdoor stage. Same trailer is also where we got an early peek at Preacha's stage. Now, it's showing Marco, but we already know Marco has his own stage, that is the fitness center, the gym. But obviously, the stage has to belong to someone. In fact, it's in the Voices clip trailer as well. Given that it's outside and snowy, it would appear to be the national park. No guarantees, but hey, we're working with what we're given with here, right? And hey, wouldn't you know it, the national park is associated with a character, and that is Joe Higashi. Once again, Andy and Joe, they got all new looks and official art and all that. And I don't feel you do that unless you're going to eventually put them in the game, right? No guarantees, but, you know, connect the dots on this one. Geese Tower also is a stage in the voice clip trailer, so we already know that, right? So we got that. We got National Park. Another stage that's shown in the clip trailer is the airport. And the airport is another stage that already has an associated character with it over the years, Fatal Fury 3, and that is Franco Bash. If you're unaware of Franco, he's basically a shaved gorilla. Like he's just a gigantic dude and has one of the most infamous quotes of all time. He's got away with words, let's put it that way for Franco. But yeah, very big guy, and he is associated with the airport already. And then there's stuff like the Dreamland Amusement Park, which we've talked to death on this channel already. This stage has been around since basically the start, since the game's been announced. It does not have an associated character yet. It is traditionally associated with Raiden, the big wrestler, but hey, who knows? As Raiden is a background character in T-Zock's stage. So if we got 2 characters left after what seemingly is the rest of the guaranteed characters, we have more than 2 characters that could fit the bill, honestly. It could be the Taekwondo twins, it could be Joe and Franco if Andy is actually playable and it's not Hokuto Maru, what would fit the pre-existing stages. But then again, if that's the case, then the amusement park stage would not go to Raiden and it would be someone else's stage. It's all confusing because everyone is getting their own stage. And this is why this is all one big mystery that's driving me insane. Because there's like links, you can put stuff together, right? You can make connections, and I'm trying to, and it's not adding up. We have been able to call a lot of the characters so far thanks to these, but we're starting to run out of room here, and kind of leaves us to the point where like maybe just some characters are just going to be left for DLC, because we do have 5 DLC characters. So maybe, you know, Andy and Joe, they're on the official art. You don't put them on the official art if they're not going to be in the game, especially considering they have all new designs that they've never had before. So maybe one or both of them could be DLC characters. The Great Raiden mystery, maybe he's a DLC character and just nobody gets the amusement park till he shows up as DLC. Seems as likely as anything else at this point. These are the many mysteries as it stands, and I would love you guys to argue about it in the comments. But there is one thing I do want to hammer home before we end up the video, and that is a guest character. There kind of has to be a guest character in a way. SNK has been incredibly generous over the years in loaning out their characters to other games. And see, I managed to make another video about Terry Bogard, so we're just going to keep this train going. And it's been an unbridled era of cooperation in that both the classics, SVC Chaos, and Capcom vs SNK 1 and 2 are getting modern re-releases. So basically it's about time someone pays it forward back to SNK, right? We've been over this many times on the channel, but as much as a minority might cry and complain, people love them guest characters. And given recent events, a guest character from Capcom specifically does seem most likely. Now, who could it be? Now, we already did mention, Chun-Li and Ryu, but it almost seems like too obvious, right? And plus with Ryu, Marco's already in the game. We already have our Shoto. Chun-Li could definitely work. There's nothing really like Chun-Li in Fatal Fury, but it could be anyone really, right? Could be one of the more modern characters like say Luke or Juri. They're certainly popular enough, right? And honestly, hey, who's to say it even has to be Street Fighter? Morrigan is certainly a very popular character despite not being in her own franchise for over 2 decades. She's persisted over the years for 2 big reasons: her design and aesthetic and crossover appeal. Or you could just go crazy and do like Frank West from Dead Rising or something like that. But basically, SNK is owed a guest at this point. And plus, crossovers, guest characters, they've always been very popular. And if we're going to keep that train going to the eventual inevitable Capcom versus SNK 3, because don't act like it's not going to happen. At this point here, with the big love in between Capcom and SNK, this stuff is happening. Just saying, I'm very confident one of those 5 DLC characters is going to be a guest, because that's the way the winds are blowing. So that's kind of my thoughts on the matter. So as it stands, we have 17 characters at launch, 22 characters in total with the 5 DLC. Of the 17, 11 are known. If you count the ones that are basically a given that we've talked about, it's actually 14. Then we just kind of got a few slots to fit more characters in than we should, right? Which leaves me to believe the characters that you would think are auto guarantees that won't make it in will just simply be part of the first season of DLC. And somewhere in there, we're going to add a guest character. So that's my thoughts on the matter. Would love to know yours, so please post it in the comments below. And otherwise, my friends, that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Fatal Fury.
We're